Why do some men command devotion while others beg for attention? Why do certain people effortlessly attract loyalty and respect, while you constantly prove worth, chase validation, and end up giving everything for scraps? The answer isn't what dating coaches tell you. It's not about confidence tricks or manipulation tactics. It's about power dynamics most men are completely blind to until it's too late. Machiavelli wrote that men are governed more by fear of loss than by gratitude for gain. He meant that human attachment doesn't flow toward those who give the most. It flows toward those who control scarcity. In relationships, the person needing less commands more. The person who can walk away holds the throne. The person who makes themselves abundant, available, and eager hands over every weapon that will eventually be used against them. Nice guys don't finish last because they're kind. They finish last because they telegraph submission from first contact, signaling no options, no standards, no capacity to withdraw. And in the ruthless economy of human desire, that makes them worthless. I lived this reality. Years ago, I was the man who texted back immediately, who cleared his schedule for anyone showing interest, who bent over backward, proving I was worthy of someone's time. I thought generosity would be rewarded. I thought loyalty would be reciprocated. Instead, I was taken for granted, disrespected, and discarded the moment someone more interesting appeared. The women I chased became distant. The friends I prioritized vanished when I needed them, and I couldn't understand why, until I discovered what Machiavelli understood 5 centuries ago, that people do not value what they do not have to work for, and they do not respect what they can control completely. So here's what I'm going to teach you today: the 7 phases of Machiavellian relationship warfare. These aren't cheap tricks. These aren't manipulation games for damaged people. These are the structural laws that govern every human relationship, whether you acknowledge them or not. And by the end, you'll understand something most people never grasp: that the only way to be truly valued is to become selectively unavailable. The only way to command loyalty is to make it unclear whether you'll stay. The only way to inspire desire is to master the art of strategic withdrawal. If you think this sounds cold, you're not ready for this knowledge. If it sounds familiar, you've been on the losing side long enough to recognize the truth when you hear it. So grab something to write with, because this isn't philosophy for entertainment. This is the operating system of human attachment, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. That brings us to Phase 1. Phase 1, the law of initial positioning. Most men lose the relationship before it even begins. They don't realize that the early interactions set the frame for everything that follows. Machiavelli taught that a prince must establish his authority immediately, not through cruelty, but through calculated demonstration of power. The same principle applies here. In those first few weeks of any relationship, romantic or professional, the power structure is being negotiated silently. Every text you send, every favor you offer, every compromise you make is being recorded and used to determine your value. Here's the brutal truth: people test you constantly in the beginning. They test your boundaries, your availability, your willingness to tolerate disrespect. They're not doing this consciously, they're doing it instinctively. Every human being is running a subconscious algorithm to figure out where you sit in the hierarchy. Are you rare or common, selective or desperate, outcome independent or approval seeking? And most men fail this test catastrophically because they think being agreeable will make them likable. The first rule of positioning is this: never be more invested than the other person. This doesn't mean play games. It means observe their level of effort, interest, and investment, and match it. Never exceed it. If they text you once a day, you text once a day. If they initiate twice, you initiate twice. The moment you start chasing, pursuing, and over-functioning, you signal that you have lower options and higher desperation. You might think you're showing interest. What they see is weakness. Machiavelli observed that men judge you by what they see you tolerate. If you tolerate being treated as a low priority, that's what you'll remain. If you tolerate disrespect in the name of keeping the peace, you'll be disrespected permanently. The powerful set the standard early and enforce it silently. They don't complain, they don't explain. They simply withdraw attention when the standard isn't met. That withdrawal is more powerful than any argument because it creates uncertainty, and uncertainty is the mother of all desire. Now here's where most people misunderstand this entire concept. They think being unavailable means being rude, cold, or manipulative. No, it means having a life that doesn't revolve around one person. It means having standards that aren't negotiable. When someone reaches out and you're genuinely busy, that's not a tactic, that's reality. But weak men manufacture fake availability because they're afraid of missing an opportunity. They drop everything, rearrange their priorities, and prove that they're just waiting around to be chosen. That's the fastest way to kill attraction. So in phase 1, your mission is simple. Establish that you are not easily impressed, not always available, and not negotiating your standards. When they sense that access to you is limited, that you might walk away, that you're evaluating them as much as they're evaluating you, everything changes. You're no longer a beggar, you're a prize, and prizes aren't chased, they're earned. Phase 2, the scarcity principle and strategic absence. Once the frame is set, the next phase is maintaining it through strategic absence. Machiavelli warned that familiarity breeds contempt. He didn't mean you should avoid people. He meant that your presence must remain valuable by never becoming guaranteed. The moment someone knows they can have your attention whenever they want, your attention becomes worthless. This is the scarcity principle, and it governs everything from economics to human relationships. Think about the people you respect most in your life. Are they the ones who are always around, always eager, always available? No. They're the ones who are selective with their time, who don't chase you, who make you feel lucky when they show up. That's not an accident. They've mastered the art of controlled presence. You're going to do the same. Here's how it works. After the initial positioning phase, you deliberately create space. You don't text every day. You don't make yourself the person who always initiates. You let silence sit between interactions. Most men panic during this phase because they fear being forgotten. That fear is the leash around their neck. Powerful men understand that absence doesn't kill attraction, it intensifies it. When you're not constantly accessible, people start wondering what you're doing, who you're with, whether they're still important to you. That wondering is psychological tension, and tension creates desire. Machiavelli called this the art of controlled withdrawal. When someone starts assuming you'll always respond, always be there, always prioritize them, you vanish for a few days. No explanation, no drama. You just become less available. And when you return, you're warm but not desperate. This reminds them that access to you is a privilege, not a right. This isn't mind games with people you care about. This protects your value from over-availability erosion. Always there trains them to stop appreciating you. Selectively there teaches treasuring time received. It's the difference between a doormat and a king. Humans value what they work for. If they wait for texts, plan ahead to see you, wonder if you're thinking of them, they become invested. Investment creates attachment. Attachment creates loyalty. Never wondering, waiting, working, they become complacent. Complacent people take you for granted, disrespect time, eventually leave. For someone creating insecurity, practice strategic absence. Build life so full you're not always available. Not pretending busy, actually being someone worth waiting for. Phase 3, Frame control with scarcity established. Next is frame control. Machiavelli understood whoever controls narrative controls kingdom. Frame is unspoken agreement about what relationship is, rules are, who has authority. Most men accept whatever frame imposed. Every interaction negotiates whose reality dominates. When someone says you never text first, they're imposing frame, you're failing. Weak man apologizes, texts more. Strong man reframes. I text when I have something to say. If keeping score, this won't work. Frame control isn't winning arguments. It's refusing to operate inside someone else's assumptions. Don't react to emotional manipulation. Don't defend against baseless accusations. Hold your frame built on self-respect and clear standards. Example, someone says you don't give enough attention. Old me would panic, proving I cared. New me said, I give what I can. If that's not enough, that's okay. But I'm not changing operation. When willing to lose someone rather than compromise frame, you immediately become more valuable. They realize you're not controllable. People don't respect what they control. They respect what they can't. Frame control core. Decide what you will and won't tolerate. Enforce through action, not words. Someone disrespects you and you stay. You've communicated, disrespect is acceptable. Withdraw presence when standard violated. You've communicated access has terms. Machiavelli wrote, better respected than adored if you cannot have both. Respect comes from frames that don't bend. Define standards clearly. Don't announce like demands. Simply live them. When someone crosses them, don't argue. Disengage. Phase 4, calculated vulnerability. People misunderstand Machiavellian strategy. They think being powerful means being invulnerable, emotionless, cold. That's insecurity disguised as strength. True power includes knowing when to reveal weakness strategically. Calculated vulnerability is a dangerous weapon in relationship warfare. Machiavelli observed princes must appear merciful, faithful, humane, and possess these qualities when useful. Vulnerability isn't weakness when you control timing, depth, recipient. Vulnerability becomes dominance when choosing who deserves seeing behind walls. Most men are completely closed, making them robotic, or completely open, making them desperate. Machiavellian operates between, guarded by default, warm when appropriate, occasionally vulnerable, creating intimacy without surrendering power. After establishing value, selectively reveals something real, not insecurities, something genuine showing depth, past experience that shaped you, fear you're working through, goal that matters. Share briefly without melodrama. This creates earned connection. They feel given access others don't see, making them feel special. Feeling special creates loyalty. Never make vulnerability a pattern. Don't become person constantly oversharing. Remain person strong by default, occasionally human by choice. That balance is intoxicating because rare. Most people are masks constantly or emotional wrecks. You're neither. You're controlled power with warmth moments. Practice selective vulnerability. Reveal only what strengthens bonds without weakening position. Phase 5, Emotional Aikido. Now advanced territory, turning emotional attacks into weapons against themselves. Machiavelli taught wise men use enemy momentum against them. Master emotional Aikido. When someone manipulates through guilt, anger, outbursts, weak men react, strong men reflect. The mirror technique, reflect exactly what they're giving without escalation or absorption. Someone cold, become equally measured. Unreasonable, become unnervingly calm. Trying to provoke, give nothing. This forces them confronting their own behavior. Most emotional manipulation relies on getting reactions. They want you chasing when withdrawing, apologizing when angry. That reaction confirms power over you. When you don't react, when mirroring their energy without emotion, they lose leverage. Machiavelli observed one who deceives finds those allowing themselves deceived. When mastering mirror technique, you stop being manipulatable, become emotionally unreachable. That unreachability signals you cannot be controlled. Example, someone says you don't care anymore. Weak response, that's not true, of course I care. Strong response, if that's how you feel, maybe we should reassess this. You didn't defend or chase. You mirrored their statement weight, making it their problem. Or guilt attempt. Everyone else's partner does this. Weak, I'm sorry, I'll try harder. Strong, then maybe you should be with everyone else's partner. Not cruel. Refusing frame where you're failing. Phase 6, loyalty test. Every relationship reaches points where you must test foundation. Machiavelli warned you never truly know loyalty until they have reason betraying. Most avoid testing loyalty, fearing discovery. That fear traps them with people only there when convenient. Loyalty test isn't creating fake drama. It's observing behavior when you're no longer performing. Seeing who stays when you stop chasing, who reaches out when you go quiet. Protocol, after establishing value, scarcity, frame control, pull back completely, not punishment, observation. Stop initiating, stop accommodating. Let relationship exist on their effort alone. Then watch. Do they pursue? Respect distance, disappear. Answer tells everything. Most people are only around for what you give. Attention, validation, resources. Rare people staying when giving nothing. Those are keepers. I did this with entire social circle. Stopped organizing everything. Went quiet 3 months. Out of 20 considered close, 3 reached consistently. Other 17 disappeared when I stopped providing energy. This separates weak from powerful. Weak fear this test, afraid of being alone. Powerful welcome it, preferring alone over surrounded by opportunists. Test loyalty by withdrawing usual investment, observing who adjusts versus disappears. Phase 7, sovereign relationship. Final phase is rarest, sovereign relationship, when 2 people both mastering these principles come together. Not traditional submission and dominance. Mutual respect between 2 refusing control, creating unbreakable bonds. Machiavelli would call this alliance of equals, only form worth, building long-term. Most relationships operate on unspoken hierarchies. One has more power, other accommodates. That imbalance might be stable but never fulfilling. When 2 meet who've done this work, built value, set boundaries, mastered emotions, refuse tolerating disrespect, something different emerges. Neither controls other, neither desperate, because neither dominates. They create equilibrium based on choice, not need. Both have full lives outside relationship. Both maintain unbending standards. Both willing walking if mistreated, meaning neither mistreats. Relationship isn't held by fear, it's held by respect. Recognizing what they've built is rare. Most fail arriving here never doing individual work. They enter relationships from weakness, hoping other person completes them. 2 weak people create codependency. 2 strong people create something powerful. That's the goal. Not manipulating people into staying, but building yourself so valuable, self-sufficient, uncompromising you only attract and accept people meeting that level. Everyone else falls naturally. Machiavelli's ultimate lesson was this: power is not given. It's taken by those willing to do what others won't. In relationships, that means being willing to walk away, to be alone, to demand respect, even if it costs you companionship. Most people aren't willing to pay that price. They'd rather be mistreated than be alone. They'd rather be tolerated than demand being cherished. But you're not most people. If you've read this far, if these principles resonated with you, you're in the small percentage who refuses to accept mediocrity. You're someone who would rather build sovereignty than beg for scraps. And that makes you dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous to manipulators, to opportunists, to anyone who tries to use you. because you can't be used when you're willing to lose everything to maintain your standards. So here's the final truth. The reason nice guys finish last isn't because kindness is weakness. It's because most nice guys are kind from a position of fear, not strength. They give because they're afraid of losing, not because they're abundant. Real kindness, real generosity, real love, it all flows from sovereignty. When you know you don't need anyone, when you know you'll be fine alone, when you've built a life so full that relationships are a bonus rather than a necessity, that's when you can finally give freely, because you're not giving to keep someone, you're giving because you choose to. That's the Machiavellian path to relationships. It's not about being cruel, it's about being powerful. And power attracts loyalty, respect, and genuine connection in ways that neediness never will. If this philosophy resonated, take these principles and apply them systematically. Watch your relationships transform. I'll see you in the shadows.